Goes into Empoleon, I switch out into Rose Raid. He gets up his Stealth Rocks, which is actually quite a nice move by him. Then he goes into Tornadus, but I go for the Spikes and go into my Spirit Tomb for some reason. He goes for an Air Slash, which gets a crit and finishes him off. I go into Rotom Heat, which scares him out. He goes into Claydol, but I predict that, so with the trick, which basically gives Claydol the Scarf, which really does not do any good to Claydol. It pretty much ruins him. So now we have a Raw, Sleep, Rest. Sleep, Talk, Rest, set Suicune. So I go for the Raw to Raw someone out, but it turns out to be Claydol, which obviously has Levitate. Then I go for a Scald to get a bit of damage off on him. This turn I go for a Rest because I know he was going to switch, which obviously gets me back up to full health and cures my Toxic. So I'm now going to go for a Sleep Talk, which ends up being Raw, and that goes into his Dusclops, which is quite nice for me, because I was hoping for a Scald, but so he goes for an Air Slash. I wake up, go for a Scald, because I knew it, but I get the Burn, which is so lucky, because it's like a 30%, well actually it's pretty common, it's 30% chance I think. So I roll him into his Darmanitan, which I was thinking yes, but he goes for the go for the Flare Blitz, and I live with 1% health. You'll see how crucial that was later. So I go for the Rest, and then I go into I go for the Sleep Talk, which actually brings him back out into his Darmanitan, which I'm just so lucky with that. He goes for a U-turn. I go for another Sleep Talk, which actually I think brings him back into his. Oh no, I go for which uses Scald, but basically his Tornadus is basically useless now. I go for another Roar, which brings his Darmanitan in. How unlucky is that? So he goes for another U-turn. I basically just use Scald, because and then I Rest again. This Suicune is actually pretty good. It's kind of annoying. So I go into my Scyther, which I forgot that it's so good, like the Roxas damage is so good. So he misses the Aerial Ace and he's just like, no! And I just finish him off with the Aerial Ace, because this is a Choice Banded Scyther. So basically Tornadus dies from his burn, so that's double down. And I go into Rose Raid predicting the Claydol. But I did not predict the Magic Coat, which actually ended up doing a lot of bad things. So I go for the Giga Drain, obviously trying to take out his Claydol, but I go he actually has a Roar on his Empoleon, which worked quite nicely for him because it goes into my Rotom Heat. But I go for a Volt Switch, which KO'd his Empoleon because it's super effective. But I go into Ambipom to go for a fake out on his Pokemon that comes in, but it's me and Xiao, but she does on me. Actually no, I probably went for a return actually. But I go into my Suicune to basically go for a Sleep Talk. He goes for a High Jump Kick, which pretty much kills my Suicune. So I got Ambipom, Rose Raid, and not Heatmore. The same thing happened to me. He got left with 1% health. So it's down to me and Xiao, Darmanitan, Rose Raid, and basically Rotom. So I thought he's not going to switch this. So obviously that's Rotom gone. I really was thinking he's just going to go for Flare Blitz and win this. Except I forgot he's actually Choice Scarfed. So he had to switch, which I Sludge Bomb, which takes out his me and Xiao. This is the first time that this has ever happened to me. He goes for his Flare Blitz, killed my Rose Raid, but the recoil kills him, so this is a tie. So nice match, Pika for the win, 3-2-1.